see. Do I think the SAT is an accurate depiction of how a student will do in college? Yes and no. It's a standardized test, and there are problems with standardized tests. There are also, very good reasons for having standardized tests. If I'm a college, I want some kind of basis for comparison. I don't know that the SAT is always a really good predictor. I think in general it's a good predictor. I think when it's not a good predictor is when students have issues taking tests. And there are an awful lot of people, I completely understand that, who, when it comes to sitting down and focusing on a test, and we're talking most of your Saturday morning at least until just after lunch, shot from taking this test. It's a beast, and we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to do well. And not only do we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to do well, but there's a tremendous amount of, rightly or wrongly, there's a lot of self-worth that people derive from their scores. And so you ask adults what they made, and they still remember their score. And the reason is, for whatever reason, we all kind of bought into this idea that, oh, I made a 1400, so therefore I am smarter than this person who made a 1260, or I'm not as smart as this person who made a 1520. That's not true. Exactly, because it's an aptitude test. I will tell you that the College Board's stance on the SAT, and I guess full disclosure, I do work for the College Board, but the College Board's stance on the SAT is that it's an aptitude test, which means it's a test to determine how you think, your reasoning abilities. It is not a test of what you know, it's a test more of what you can do, I guess. Now, having said that, the verbal part of the SAT is nothing but a glorified vocabulary test. I can take you through the whole history of the development of the test. I'll give you the short version and tell you that the original test that the SAT evolved from also evolved into the Stanford Binet IQ test. So, which is kind of interesting. But I can also tell you that I have worked with students taking the SAT for about 15 years now. And while the College Board will tell you that students cannot improve more than 100 points, because, again, you can't really study for it, I can tell you that my experience has been that I can get students, on average, my student score improves in the neighborhood of 200 points. And I have had a student who scored 600 points higher. Now, how do I do that? Well, the thing is, it is a test. It is a standardized test, which what that means is there are certain rules with which or by which it's put together. Okay? There are certain numbers of questions that will always be there, certain types of questions that will always be there. So as a result, if you know the rules, it's like any game. If you know the rules and you understand them well, you can beat the system, so to speak. The SAT is a foot in the door. That's all it is. The SAT, once you get into the college of your choice, doesn't matter ever again. Okay? It is not going to affect you in any way, shape, or form once you get into your school. The SAT is an indicator to that college that I can think on this level. I go back and forth. I recognize the need for some sort of standardized bar, by which, if I'm a college administrator, I could measure students, prospective incoming students. Now, do I like the SAT? Do I think it's a perfect system? I don't think it's a perfect system. I think there are lots of problems inherent with that type of test.